Hello, my name's Helen and today I'm going to tell you a story from my story box. Here it is. It's very old, very battered, but it's full of stories. I'm going to start with a rhyme. Here is the box. Here is the lid. I wonder whatever inside is hid. I'm going to look through the keyhole. Why, it's a story and my dog, without any doubt. Open the box and let them come out. Well, are you going to come out and say hello to everyone today? He's coming. There he is. He says, hello everyone, welcome to story time. He's going to go and get the story ready. Okay, that one, right. Goodbye. This is a story all about a turnip. Once upon a time, in a little house, there lived a little old man and a little old woman who was his wife, and their little granddaughter, and the granddaughter's big brown dog, and her little black cat. And in a corner of the house, where nobody knew, there lived a little mouse. One day the little old man said to the little old woman, today I'm going to plant turnip seeds. Oh, goody, said the little granddaughter. I love turnip soup. So the little old man went out into the garden and he got the ground ready and he planted the turnip seeds, and over the weeks he watered them and he pulled up the weeds and he looked after them, and the turnips started to grow. First he could see some little green stalks, but as they grew larger he started to see the tops of the turnips. But one of the turnips wouldn't stop growing. It grew and grew until it was nearly as big as the little old man. One day, the little old man went inside and said to the little old woman, his wife, today I'm going to pull up the enormous turnip, otherwise it won't fit in my wheelbarrow. So off he went out into the garden and he dug around it with his spade, and he got hold of the turnip stalk, and he pulled and he pulled and he pulled. But would that turnip move? No, not one bit. So he called to the little old woman, his wife, and he said, my dear, please could you come out and help me pull up the enormous turnip? And the little old woman said, of course I will. So the little old woman went out into the garden with the little old man, and together they got hold of the turnip stalk, and they pulled and they pulled and they pulled. But would that turnip move? No, not one bit. So the little old woman called to the little granddaughter and said to her, my dear, would you come and help us pull up the enormous turnip? Certainly, said the little granddaughter. So they went out and they got hold of the turnip stalk together, and they pulled and they pulled and they pulled. But would that turnip move? No, not one bit. So the little granddaughter called to her big brown dog and said, would you come and help us pull up the enormous turnip? And the big brown dog said, woof, woof, which meant, of course I will. So out he went into the garden with the others, and they got hold of the turnip stalk, and they pulled, and they pulled, and they pulled. But would that turnip move? No, not one bit. So the big brown dog called to the little black cat and said, "Woof, woof, 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 woof," which means, "Will you help us pull up the enormous turnip?" And the little black cat said, "Meow, meow," which means, "Of course I will." And so they went out into the garden and got hold of the turnip stalk. They pulled and they pulled and they pulled. But would that turnip move? No, not one bit. So the little black cat called to the little grey mouse, who lived in a place where nobody knew, and said, "Meow, meow, 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 meow," which means, "I promise I won't hurt you if you come and help us pull up the enormous turnip." And the little grey mouse, who lived in a place where nobody knew, said, "Hee hee," which means, "Of course I will." So they all went out into the garden together. The little old man and the little old woman got hold of the turnip stalk. The little granddaughter got hold of the little old woman. The big brown dog got hold of the little granddaughter. The little black cat got hold of the big brown dog. And the little grey mouse, who lived in a place where nobody knew, got hold of the little black cat. And they pulled, and they pulled, and they pulled, and they pulled, and pop! Out of the ground came the enormous turnip, and they all fell down in a heap. And the little grey mouse, who lived in a place where nobody knew, had to scuttle away in case they fell on him and squashed him. And together they carried the enormous turnip into the house, where they all made turnip soup together. And there was enough for everyone, even the little grey mouse. But that is the end of the story.